Let's get it. All right, let's clap it up. Shalom, Israel, Yahweh, Shim, Yahweh, Shai, Brakta, Yahweh, Shmartha, Bashim, Yahweh, Shai, Peace, Ahab, Awashar 5,000. We're going to hold it out tonight. Tonight is the Feast of Hanukkah. Clap it up for the Feast of Hanukkah. All right, so who can break down what the Feast of Hanukkah is? From the top of your head, who can break it down? Who knows what Feast of Hanukkah is? Who knows what the Feast of Dedication is? We got officers. We got what? We got a 1,000. We got 500 in here. What is the Feast of Hanukkah about? I'm gonna start off with the young man.
So the Feast of Dedication is basically Judas had went to war with Gorgias, like I don't want to say his name. They went to war, and after they smote the heathen, they went back to the to worship in the holy place, but the heathen had defiled it. So they took the altar, or took it down, rebuilt it, and rededicated it to the Lord.
Okay, I'll take that. Shout it right.
Okay, so Antiochus was the king at that time in Assyria. We was in our captivity in Assyria. So what happened was they went to the mighty men of Israel. One mighty man named Mattathias.
Okay.
And Mattathias said that he's not going to join. The heathen was trying to get us to join this king and forsake our laws. So he wanted us to forget our children. He wanted our children to be uncircumcised. He wanted us to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. You know, just like celebrating Christmas and everything else.
Right.
So he said one people. So Mattathias said, hell no. Right. And, you know, and he said, if you want to, he told all the Israelites at that time, he said, if you zealous for this law, follow me.
Right.
And they went up in the hills and they fought, and we won. We won that.
That's right.
This dedication is about our winning streak.
Right. You win. All right, so we're going back to Alexander the Great. This is when Alexander the Great came up. He conquered Syria, he conquered Egypt, he conquered Persia, and he conquered the land of Israel. Right? He had 4 generals come up after him, and after them they began to bring hell on earth, bring hell on Israel. They made us follow their laws. They made us follow their culture. They made us follow their religion and their gods, and we were oppressed. These men by the name of Mattathias and his sons came up and conquered and overthrew the Greeks. Right? It's pretty much men who had courage. Right? These men had courage, and they fought for their freedom, and they won. So we're going to touch on that story. That's very important today because that's what we need, right?
Right.
We're under the same captivity of the Greeks, the Romans, right? We follow their culture. We follow their Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving. Almost every holiday that you have in America goes back to the Greeks and the Romans, right? So you're living in the same time. And the same courage that them brothers had is the same courage that we need, right? So we're going to touch on that story, right? Let's start off with first Maccabees 1:1. We got any questions though? Any questions in here? Any questions in the room? If not, let's go. First Maccabees 1:1.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 1. And it happened after that, Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, the king of Persia and Medes,
Right.
that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece.
So let's go into the Persians real quick. During that time, the Persians was like the superpower, right? They were a great empire. So for Alexander the Great to smite Darius was like a big thing. He smote Darius, and after he smote Darius, he was now the one in charge. He was the one running things, right? Keep going.
Verse 2. And made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the king of the earth.
And he did what?
And slew the kings of the earth.
And this man started slaying kings. What's a king? A king is someone who's in authority, he has power, he owns countries. So he began to take over countries, right? And then make them serve him. Keep going.
Verse 3. And went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, inasmuch that the earth was quiet before him.
Now let's touch on this real quick too. So who has heard of Alexander the Great? Anybody in here heard of Alexander the Great? Like when I went to school, elementary, that was taught to me. I heard about Alexander the Great. I heard about Greek culture. But one thing I never knew that he was in the Bible.
Right.
And that when I read this, it blew my mind to know that Alexander the Great was in here. Because they're showing you what? Real history.
Right.
Real history in the Bible. Right? So Alexander the Great, he's in the Bible. And of course, he's someone who reigned on earth. What was you gonna say, Shadrach?
The land of Ketum. What is Ketum? In the First Maccabees 1:1, it says, the Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Ketum. What is Ketum?
Well, that's the land where the Edomites were in. So what you want to do, if you have a Zondervan's Pictorial Bible Dictionary, just look up the land of Chittim, and then you're going to see that that's where the Edomites were dwelling in. Go ahead.
And sir, I did already know that's Rome.
Oh, that's Rome. Okay.
Ketum is Rome.
Okay, then that's the biblical land of Rome, right? Let's keep going.
Insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted in his heart, was lifted up. Verse 4, and he gathered a mighty strongholds and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him.
So now just read that real quick. Read that part one more time, verse 4.
Verse 4, and he gathered a mighty strongholds and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him.
So remember, what is Alexander the Great? What's his nationality? He's a Greek.
Right.
That would be a so-called white man.
Right.
And it says that this devil right here ruled over countries and nations and kings. That's the white man right now.
Right.
That's the same thing he's doing right now. So this is how long ago? Let's say what, maybe about 1,000 years, maybe 2,000 years. So the same thing that this devil was doing 2,000 years ago is the same thing that he's doing right now, which is what? Which is conquering. Keep going.
Verse 5, and after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Verse 6, wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive.
Go ahead. Verse 7.
Verse 7, so Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. Verse 8, and his servant bare rule everyone in his place.
So I want to say he only ruled to like 32 years old.
Right.
So he didn't rule too long, right? He died at a young age, and then after he died, he split his kingdom. He gave his kingdom to the men that were under him. And I want to say it's 4 generals. It's Ptolemy, Antiochus. I can't think of the other general's name. Seleucus. There you go. Seleucus. And what's the other one?
It's probably 6. Like, give me 1 second.
Seleucus. You get the other name, let me know. So he split it up between these 4, and these 4 began to reign. Keep going.
Verse 9, and after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, so that their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth.
You got it, Latizar?
Sir. Lysimachus, Cassandra, Seleucus, which was the king of the north, and Ptolemy, which was the king of the south.
Okay, so that's the 4. Keep going. Go back to where it says, and evils were multiplied in the earth. Verse 10.
I think that's verse 9, sir.
All right, go to verse 10.
And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been an hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
Antiochus, I believe this devil's the one that brought hell to Israel. So he came into our land and he began to do things that were evil. You know what I'm saying? Like this devil right here went in there and started killing our babies, killing our women, killing our children, killing our men. You know, making a sacrifice of pig on the temple.
Right.
Right. So this devil right here is, you want to look him up. right? It's a biblical, it's a historical name. Look them up, and you can find, find information about them. But keep going.
Verse 11. In those days when went there out of Israel wicked men who pursued many, saying, Let us go make a covenant with the heathen that are around about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
So verse 11 says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men, right? Who persuaded many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. So when it says Israel came out of Israel wicked men, who are these Israelites? Who are the Israelites that persuaded the heathen? Shadrach.
It's like Sadducees and Pharisees, or you could call them church pastors, or you could call them sellouts and what do you call them? House niggas.
House niggas, sellouts, you name it. But there's another word I was looking for. Who were these men? So for we all understand, who are the Sadducees and the Pharisees?
Traitors?
Traitors, another word I'm looking for. This is what? This is the leadership. This is the men that we all look up to.
Right.
These are the men that have the law. These are the men that are leading us. So these cats right here said what? Let us go make a covenant with the heathen. Right. So the men that are supposed to lead you are saying, let's go serve them.
Right.
Let's go with them. Let's go see what they're talking about. Because they were what? They were traitors. And they were scared. And they were afraid. Right? Go ahead, Shadrach.
That's like Martin Luther King.
Like your Martin Luther King,
That's like
right?
T.D. Jakes.
Right.
That's like Creflo Dollar.
Right. And the list goes on.
That's like the NAACP.
You got it. Who persuaded many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. Meaning what? What are they saying right there? What are they asking for them? Like what like break down what's going on. What is the leadership saying to the heathen? Young man.
I believe that they want us. I believe that they're trying to tell the heathen that we want to be subservient to them. I guess, like under them. I believe that.
No, you got it. That's most definitely the answer. That's most definitely the answer. You got it right. So pretty much what they're saying is that they're inviting them.
Right.
They're inviting the heathen. They're saying, man, you know what? You come over here. You know, bring the Romans over here. Bring the Greeks over here. Right? We're inviting the heathen into our what? Into our neighborhoods, into our culture.
Right. And
every single time you invite the heathen to your hood, to your neighborhood, what happens? Shadrach.
And I'm going to tell you, just like the Black Panther Party invited heathens into their organization. And that was the FBI. And that's what broke the organization.
Okay, but what happens though when you invite them? They take it over. They taking over your neighborhood. And that's what they did. They invited the Greeks and they took over the land of Israel. We invited them to Compton. We invited them to South Central. We invited them to our neighborhoods. And what they do? They gentrified it. Right. They took it over.
Right.
Now you're no longer living in your neighborhood. You can't even rent an apartment in your neighborhood. Right. Because the rent is so goddamn high. Right. So we invited them and then we began to leave. Right? Because we can't be there no more because they took it over. So then this time period, they did the same exact thing. We invited them over and then they began to put their Greek gods in our neighborhood. Right. Then we had to start speaking Greek. Right? Then we had to start sacrificing pigs. So if you were Israelite, you know damn well you ain't about to do that. Right? So let's keep going.
Verse 12. So this device pleased them well. Verse 13. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen. Mm-hmm. Verse 14. Whereupon they build a place of exercise of Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen.
So now they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem. What's a place of exercise? Let me get the young man.
A gymnasium.
A gymnasium. right? So they built a gymnasium in our homeland. So for those of you, what's wrong with the gymnasium? That don't sound too bad, right? A gym? What's wrong with a gym? What goes on in the gym? Go ahead. Raise your hand. What's going on in the gym?
It goes on to the gym.
Okay, so just to make it more simple, like y'all understand, you can't work out without a shirt, right? You had to have a shirt on if you in the gym.
Right.
You can't work out with your shirt off. The Romans and the Greeks have a culture of working out without their shirts.
Right.
They're damn near naked, right? That's Roman and Greek culture to be naked, right? So they begin to build these places of exercise in our homeland. Go ahead, Shadrach.
And it's crazy because you look at Planet Fitness, you look at Planet Wild Fitness, they always got a wash shower area for the men to go shower and get naked while you working out. You don't gotta do that. You
Right.
just work out, get sweaty, and go to hell home.
Right. Y'all understand, right?
To see you.
And there's 1,000 other things that go on in that gym or in sports, which is damn near homosexuality, or it's like alternative LGBTQ, right? Like you see them coach slapping your behind. You in the shower naked with like 10 other men, 50 other men.
Right.
You know, that's what I heard. That's, I don't do sports, but go ahead.
If I may, sir, you really think about how they have a gym set up. Not every gym is like this, but when dudes and even the women, when they taking showers, it costs $5 to put like a divider between the people. Half of the gyms don't even have a divider.
It costs you $5 to put a divider in.
$5 to $10, like it's that little metal thing with a divider, so I won't have to see you next to me while we both shower. They don't even have that in some gyms, just for the fact that I should be able to look at you as you're butt naked. So
you gotta pay to.
No, you don't gotta pay. They just don't even have them.
Oh, okay.
Unless you go to like certain other gyms.
Got you. Go ahead, Shadrach.
And so like, and he's right in everything he said, but they don't even have a door on the shower.
Half the time.
Ain't even a door on the damn shower with men, grown men.
So you forced to see somebody. You forced to see somebody naked. Man, well, I pray that nobody go to the gym has to see that. Right? But that's what they were doing. Like they're pushing their culture on us. They're making us, see that, act like that, do the things that they do. Why? Because we invited them.
Right.
Because we invited them to our neighborhood. We invited them to our land. And that's why we're in the condition that we're in, because of what our leadership did. Right? Keep going. Oh, hold your point real quick. I told your point for like 5 minutes real quick. Let's keep going.
Verse 15, and made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant.
Okay, read that part one more time.
Verse 15, and made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant.
So what does it mean when they said and made themselves uncircumcised? What happened right here? What does it mean when they said they made themselves uncircumcised? Who want to take a crack at that? Let me get Kudash out.
So it's basically like they made themselves uncircumcised, if I may. Like they made themselves like unclean to where they didn't continue in what they believed in at that moment.
Mm-hmm. No, that's right. So it's Daniel like saying, you know what? Let me get this chain. Let me take this chain off. I don't want this chain no more. I don't want this headband no more. I don't want this garment no more. This right here, I don't want this no more. Like I don't want the polio no more. You know what? Let me invite Christmas in here. Let's put up this Christmas tree right here. Let's put on the lights right here. Let's bring the Thanksgiving dinner in here. We made ourselves uncircumcised, meaning we begin to be like them.
Right.
And that's what they did. In our land, in our own homeland, we said, we're done with all this.
Right.
Like let's take on Greek culture. What you gonna say something else?
Basically, in all in one, basically we started to take on their customs instead of keeping our own.
Right. That's right. And that's what begins to happen. Just keep going.
And joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief.
And did what?
and were sold to do mischief.
And joined themselves to the heathen, were sold to do mischief. Keep going.
Verse 16. Now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion of 2 realms.
All right.
Verse 17. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with the chariots and elephants and horsemen and great navy. Verse 18. And made war against.
Go to verse 20.
Verse 20. And after that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt, he returned again into the 143rd year, and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude. Verse 21. And entered probably into the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar and the candlesticks of light and all the vessels thereof.
So just so y'all understand what's going on, like y'all got to really picture what's going on. That's like some devil coming in here and taking over this and say, you know what, we're taking this, we're taking this, we're taking this, we're taking this line, you know, we're taking everything in the school, and everybody here, you know, y'all becoming slaves.
Right.
And that's what they did in Israel, right? That's what Antiochus did. Keep going.
Verse 22. And the table of the showbread and the pouring vessels and all the vials and the censer of gold and the veils and the crowns and the golden ornaments.
Okay, stop right there. Now let's go to verse 29.
Verse 29. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude. Verse 30.
So now when he says that he sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah, what is he doing right here? What does it mean when he says that he sent the king's collector of tribute unto Israel? Let's go, Alexa.
That main man who come to get the taxes, basically.
Taxing them.
Yeah,
That's right.
You go now after taking everything from us, now he's sending someone over to go tax us.
Right.
Right? He wants your money now.
Right.
Keep going.
Verse 30. And spake peaceably words unto them.
One more time.
And spake peaceable words unto them. But all was deceit.
And spake peaceful words unto them. When he going into your city, and he be like, man, you know what? Everything will be all right. Everything will be good. Just pay up. If you pay, we ain't gonna kill you. You know, we pay up. You know, just give it the money that you have. Everything gonna be all right. Y'all gonna be straight. Y'all gonna keep your neighborhood. Don't worry about your kids. You know, everything gonna be fine. He spake peaceful words unto them.
Right.
Well, what that one scripture say that smooth words. So if someone can pull that, scripture, his words were smoother than butter, right? And that's something the devil had done every single time. And you know what the sad part is that we always fall for it, right? He comes to us and say, you know, we're gonna be equal. You know, we're gonna learn how to get along. We're gonna learn from you. You're gonna learn from us, and we're gonna live happily ever after. And it never goes like that. Every single time we listen to him, we always end up in the bottom or we end up dead. You got that, Latazar? Go ahead.
The book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
Were what?
Were smoother than butter.
Keep going.
But war was in his heart.
Now read that same precept you just read right now, which is in verse 29. Hold that, Latazar. Give me another brother. Pick up 29. First Maccabees 1 and 29. It's like verse 30.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 30. And spake peaceable words unto them.
And said what?
And spake peaceable words unto them.
Read that, Latazar.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
Y'all get how it's the same thing, right? It's
Right.
the same thing. He's speaking peaceful words, and he's saying his words are smoother than butter. He's saying something to you that sound right. Keep going. Latazar.
But war was in his heart.
But what?
But war was in his heart.
War was in his heart. Now you pick up on it, young man.
But all was deceit.
But all was what?
But all was deceit.
But he lying to you.
Right
Y'all better understand that. He lying to you. He playing you. Keep going.
For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore, and destroyed much people of Israel.
Go ahead.
Verse 31. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire, and pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side.
Go ahead.
But the woman and children took they captive, and possessed the cattle.
So y'all understand, right? So he went in there, lied to you, and then killed you right after, and then took your women and children. Right. And then what? Burned it on fire. Keep going.
Verse 33. Then builded they the city of David with a great and strong wall, and with mighty towers, and made it a stronghold for them. And they put therein a sinful nation, wicked men, and fortified themselves therein.
All right, let's start. Verse 37.
Verse 37. Thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary, and defiled it.
But stop right there. Thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary and defiled it. So now what are they doing right here? Now they're killing us in the sanctuary. It's like if they came in here and started killing brothers right here on the podium. Just so you can understand it, you know? And that's what they were doing in Israel. They were killing us in the sanctuary. Keep going.
Verse 38. Insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them, whereupon the city was made an habitation of strangers, and became strange in those that were born in her, and her own children left her.
And now what? Now we have heathen in our land. And y'all understand that there's not supposed to be not a single heathen in the land of Israel. There's not supposed to be no white man, no African, no Arab, East Indian. None of them are supposed to set foot in our land.
That's right.
You understand? And that's what they were doing. So to further point is the Palestinians and the so-called Jewish man, the hook-nosed bastard, he ain't supposed to be our land either. You know, it's an abomination for them to be in our land.
That's right.
Keep going.
Verse 39. Her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feasts were turned into mourning. Her Sabbaths into reproach. Her honor into contempt. As had been her glory, so was her dishonor increased, and her excellency was turned into mourning.
Keep going.
Verse 41. Moreover, the king Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
That all should be what?
That all should be one people.
One more time.
That all should be one people.
Now, who is this coming from? It's coming from Antiochus.
Right.
This coming from the same man that went and killed us, killed our kids, killed our women, killed our children, burnt our city on fire, right?
Right.
That lied to us. And you know what? After doing all that, you know what he said? Man, we should all be one. You know, we all got to be equal.
Right.
We all got to be one people.
Right.
After doing what? After killing you. That's the way you think.
Right.
After killing you and putting you in slavery, he's saying, you know what? We should all be one. That sounds like a good idea.
Right.
After them murdering your whole damn family, he's like, you know what? We are equal. We should all be one. That's a good idea. It's like a light bulb came up in his head. It's like, you know what? We should all be the same. Let's keep going.
That all should be one people, and every one should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath.
And you know what? And there were sellouts. There were traitors in our nation.
Right.
That said, you know what? That's a good idea. Let's do what he says. Let's go sacrifice pigs in the temple. Right? Let's follow the strange laws of the land. Let's profane the Sabbaths. You understand? Some of them thought like that. What was you going to say, Latazar?
If I may, sir, is this the beginning of Hellenization? Right here, when we read in Galatians 3:28, when it says neither Jew nor Greek, is this the beginning of the Hellenization period?
Well, you said no Jew, no Greek. What do you mean by that?
You remember how we were speaking their different tongues,
Right.
and how fake Israelites we think Gentiles and neither Jew nor Greek is other people. Is this the beginning of
Hellenization? This is the beginning of Hellenization. What are you gonna say, Shadabat?
Okay, so I was looking at verse 33, right? Where they said they built up the wall, the city of David. Okay, was this the first building of the city of David? No.
What do you mean the first building of the city of David?
Did they first build the city of David at this time in this scripture?
No. The city of David is the actual city that David built. you know, where he sat, the throne he sat on. So they took that. They took what he built and began to sacrifice idols in what David built. You understand? So that's like to us, that's like, oh man, it's a holy city. It's like if you went to the city of David, it's like you was in the city of David. You know, that's where you want to be at.
Right.
And that's what they took. They took that and started sacrificing pigs in there. Right? This 43.
Verse 43. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. Verse 44. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days. Verse 46. And pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts.
So you understand what they're making us do is break the law. Right? They're making us break the law. You celebrate Christmas this December 25th, you breaking the law.
Right.
You understand? You're following a Greek holiday, probably even before that. You're following a idol, right? Following an idol. So you breaking the law of God. And that's what they made us do. They made us do that during this time. What's he gonna say?
So you follow an African idol.
It's African. There you go. Babylonian. The Babylonian, right? Nimrod. Keep going.
Verse 48. That they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end they might forget the law.
To the what?
To the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die.
Like you ever think about like why our people eat so much pork and swine?
Right.
Like coming from a Hispanic lineage, Hispanic family, everybody in my family eat pork. Everybody's putting that pork inside soup. You know, you name it. Everything. There's bacon on everything. There's pig on everything. And I always thought like, damn, why we eat pig so much? It's because they made us eat pig. You know, this is going back years. And they forced us to eat pig.
Right.
Going down to the Greeks, going down to the Spaniards, right? Going down to the English. They came over here, put our people in slavery, and made us eat the swine. What was you going to say, Shadrach?
And also, you brothers know, y'all Judites, the so-called Negroes know that we was eating pork chops, hog maws, chitlins, and every goddamn thing else that was swine, because that's all we had to eat. You know, my mom is from the South, and she used to say they used to cut the top off the crop and they take it for themselves, but we ate the bottom and the thistles and the roots. You know, and that's what made us healthy. They didn't even know. That's what made us more stronger than them. The roots. But we were still eating the pig, the swine, and all that. And we think it's cool today.
Right. Go to verse 50.
Verse 50. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die.
You would die if you was eating that pork. You would die if you didn't celebrate that Christmas. You would die if you didn't celebrate that pagan holiday. You were put to death. You going?
Verse 51. In the selfsame manner wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice, city by city. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, everyone that forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land.
Keep going.
Verse 53. And drove the Israelites into secret places, even whatsoever they could flee for support. Now the 15th day of the month Caslu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar, and builded idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side, and burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets.
Keep going.
And when they had rent in the pieces the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire.
So now you understand. So now they're in our city, and now whenever they found our scrolls, they found our laws, they burned them up. Everything that has to do with us, that when it came to serving the Lord, they were getting rid of it. Keep going.
Verse 57. or wheresoever was found with any the book of the testament, or if any consented to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death.
Keep going.
Thus did they by their authority unto the Israelites every month, to as many as were found in the cities. Verse 59. Now the 25th day of the month they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of God, at which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised, and they hanged the infants about their necks, and rifled their houses, and slew them that had circumcised them.
So, no, going back to verse 60, where it says, at which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised. So you had some women, you had this Greek going out, killing kids, killing everybody. Because what? Why were they being killed? Let me get somebody other than Shadrach and Latzes out there. They know the Bible. Let me get the young man Davion. Davion, right? All right. So why were they being killed?
For keeping the custom of Abraham, circumcision.
Right. They want to keep the law. They want to keep the law of God. And because they want to keep the law of God, they were being killed. So there's some women that said, you know what? We're keeping the law. We don't care. So, and they were put to death. So now, name me a sister today that will do that. Name a sister today that is willing to sacrifice herself for the law of God. Those are hard to find.
One West.
That was One West.
One West.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope it's One West. I hope they here. I hope they ain't wearing the shield saying, yeah, we gonna do that. You know, Howard Small, thought about shit y'all shy. And then when they get put to death, they, you know what? Give me that swine right here. That's why we gonna eat that swine right here. Faking it the whole time. But that's not a One West sister. You understand? That's not what it is. You know what I mean? They out here ride or die. Keep going to verse 60.
Verse 60. At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised. And they hanged the infants about their necks, and rifled their houses, and slew them that had circumcised them. Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing.
So now there's some brothers and sisters in Israel that say, you know what? We ain't eating anything that's unclean. Like they made an agreement that we ain't doing this. Keep going.
Verse 63. Wherefore they choose rather to die.
They chose what?
They choose rather to die.
They chose rather to die. Go ahead.
That they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. And so they die.
So they what?
And so they die.
And they die. They prefer to die rather to eat pork, rather to eat shrimp, rather to eat crab, rather to celebrate Christmas, rather to celebrate New Year's. That's what they chose to do. Right? Keep going.
Verse 64. And there was very great wrath upon Israel.
Y'all get the point. I wanted to read that to y'all just so you get an idea of what was going on in Israel during this time. You know, it was mourning, it was death, you know, it was oppression. That's what was going on during this period of time. Now let's go to chapter 2. Chapter 2, verse 1.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 1. In those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the sons of Joareb from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin. Verse 2. And he had 5 sons, Jonan called Caddis, Simon called Thasai, Judas, who was called Maccabeus, Eleazar called Abarin, and Jonathan, whose surname was Aphis.
All right.
Verse 6. And we saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem. He said, woe is me! Wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people and of the holy city, and to dwell there when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of the strangers. Her temple has become as a man without glory. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets. Her young men with the sword of the enemy. Which nation hath not had a part in her kingdom, and gotten her spoils?
Right.
All of her ornaments are taken away. Of a free woman, she's become a bond slave.
So you understand, this is Mattathias right here. Mattathias speaking, he's pretty much speaking about what is going on in Israel and how it's, it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing to see what's going on. Today's times I've seen kids on the border. Our brothers like, damn, we got kids on the border. We got brothers in prison. We got brothers in jail. We got brothers doing 25 to life. Brothers are doing life in prison. And for those of us that care about people, it's a sad thing to see our people in that state. Go ahead, Shadrach.
And it's crazy because every nation, like verse 10, it says, what nation had not had a part in her kingdom and gotten her spoils? So they stole from us. Every nation took everything from us. What nation didn't? What nation did not have a part in taking from Israel, from Judah?
Come on. Verse 11.
What nation?
Verse 11. All her ornaments are taken away. Of a free woman, she has become a bond slave. And behold, our sanctuary, even our beauty and our glory, is laid waste, and the Gentiles have profaned it. Verse 13. To what end, therefore, shall we live any longer? Then Mattathias and his sons rent their clothes and put on sackcloth and mourn very sore.
Yeah, so when it says they rent their clothes, meaning they took out their garments. That's like a culture. It's in our culture to do that when we're mourning, when we're sad. Right? And then we'll put dust on our head.
Right.
Keep going.
Verse 15. In the meanwhile, the king's officers, such as compelled to people to revolt, came into the city of Modin to make them sacrifice. And when many of Israel came unto them, Mattathias also and his sons came together.
So what's going on right here? I want to break down what's going on. Let's get the young man.
So basically, when the heathen was going into the city to make the Israelite sacrifice, Mattathias and his sons were revolt.
So no, you got the heathen, right? Now they're going into our land to do what? To do the taxation, to make a sacrifice on our idols. So it's about that time of the month. Every month they go into our land and make a sacrifice.
Right.
Keep going.
Verse 17. Then answered the king's officers and said to Mattathias on this wise, thou art a ruler and an honorable and great man in this city, and strengthened with sons and brethren. Now therefore come thou first and fulfill the king's commandments, like as all the heathen have done, yea, and the men of Judah also, and such as remain at Jerusalem. So shalt thou and thy house be in the number of the king's friends, and thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold, and many rewards.
So why did they go to Mattathias, young man? So young man,
It's like because he was a mighty man, like he looked like a leader.
he was a leader.
Right.
That's why. So they know if they go to him, they make him sacrifice, everybody else is gonna follow suit. Right. So Mattathias was the man. This is the man that everybody respected. This is the man that everybody followed. They looked up to him. So that's the one that the heathen went after. Right? Keep going.
Verse 19. Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice. Though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him and fall away every one from the religion of their fathers and give consent to his commandments, yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. We will not hearken to the king's words to go from our religion, either on the right hand or the left. Verse 23. Now when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews on the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar, which was at Modin, according to the king's commandment, which thing when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled. Neither could he forbear to show his anger according to judgment.
So why is Mattathias pissed off? Why is Mattathias angry?
Because he just risked his life to speak for the children of Israel, saying he won't follow their laws, and this brother is going to go do exactly what he was told not to do in front of him.
Exactly. So this brother right here done laid it down. Yeah, you just laid it down and said, we ain't gonna sacrifice. We don't keep the laws of God. We keeping the commandments, right? And while he laying it down and saying this, some catch said, pfft. In other words, he literally just did that. He said, pfft.
Right.
You know, like, who's this nigga right here? And went straight into sacrifice the pig. So he didn't care. He blew him off, went and sacrificed that pig, and because he did that, Mattathias was like angry, right? Keep going.
Verse 24. Which thing when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled. Neither could he forbear to show his anger according to judgment. Wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar.
And he killed him. That's what he did. So after he did all that, he went and slew him on where? On the altar.
That's right.
On the altar, he got put to death. He went and killed him right up there. Keep going.
Verse 25. Also the king's commissioner who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time, and the altar he pulled down. Verse 26.
So after that, he killed the Jew and he killed the king's commissioner. So after that, there ain't no going back after that.
Right.
You understand? Now it's all out warfare because he knows that the Greeks are gonna find out and they're gonna go after them.
Right.
Keep going.
Verse 26. Thus dealt he zealously for the law of God, like as Phineas did unto Zambri the son of Solomon. And Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me.
Right.
So he and his sons fled into the mountains.
They fled where?
Into the mountains.
They fled where?
Into the mountains.
So they fled into the mountains. So where was zealous of the law? Fled into the mountains. Keep going.
And left all that ever they had in the city.
Keep going.
Verse 29. Then many that sought after justice and judgment went down into the wilderness to dwell there.
So now you have what? You have a group of people that fled into the mountains. And now you have another group of people that fled where? Into the wilderness. So now you have two groups.
Right.
Keep going.
God.
Verse 30. Both they and their children and their wives and their cattle, because afflictions increased sore upon them. Now when it was told the king's servants and the host that was at Jerusalem in the city of David, that certain men who had broken the king's commandment were gone down into the secret places in the wilderness, they pursued after them a great number, and having overtaken them, they camped against them and made war against them on the Sabbath day.
They made war against them when?
On the Sabbath day.
So now they find out that there's some people that disobeyed the king's commandments and went into the wilderness. Keep going.
Verse 33. And they said unto them, let that which ye have done hitherto suffice. Come forth and do according to the commandment of the king, and ye shall live. But they said, we will not come forth, neither will we do the king's commandment.
Y'all understand that the ones that went into the wilderness were not going to follow the king's commandment.
Right.
So this is a group of people that did not want to eat pork and shrimp and crab and lobster.
Right.
There's a group of people that did not want to follow the king, but want to serve the Lord.
Right.
That sound familiar?
Come on, sir.
Right.
Who's that? Oh, no, never mind. Let me not go there yet. All right. Keep going. Keep going.
Verse 35. So then they gave them the battle with all speed. Verse 36. Howbeit, they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them, nor stopped the places where they lay hid, but said.
Okay, so these same people that went into the wilderness didn't even throw a stone at them.
Sir.
So they said what? That we ain't even gonna fight.
Right.
We ain't fighting them. Keep going.
Verse 37. But said, let us all die in our innocency. Heaven and earth shall testify for us that ye put us to death wrongfully. So they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and they slew them with their wives and children and their cattle to the number of 1,000 people.
Okay, so now you have a group of people that died. Why did they die? Oh, let me get a shot of rock. Oh, you know what? Let me get the young man right here. Why did they die?
They don't want to fight.
That's the perfect answer. Give him a hand.
Right.
They don't want to fight. Why? Let me get that. Why do they want to fight?
Because they wanted not to fight on the Sabbath day.
They didn't want to fight on the Sabbath day.
That's
They didn't want to fight on the Sabbath day.
right.
They said, "What? It's the Sabbath day. You can't turn on the light on the Sabbath day. You can't turn on the stove on the Sabbath day. You can't turn on the car.
Right.
You can't cook. Y'all understand, right? That was this group of people. They said we ain't gonna work on the Sabbath. We just gonna let them kill us. Go ahead, Latazar.
Sorry, sir, if I made it to expound on what you're saying. They went west.
They
They didn't
won't wait.
understand what the Sabbath day was made for.
Right.
Instead of them fighting and defending themselves,
Sure.
they cowered out because it was the seventh day of the week. They cowered out and died,
Right.
and their wives and their children,
Right.
which you would never hear from us.
Right.
But then we get a little more though. We get a little more than that.
What's up?
Why did they die?
They
What
didn't
you said
follow
was
Matthew.
right.
They didn't follow Mattathias. They
And
didn't
what is
follow-
Mattathias?
He was the man the Lord chose.
That's it right there. That's the man that was in charge. That was the man that the Lord chose. The Lord chose Mattathias. Them cats that were in the wilderness were supposed to be with Mattathias in
Right.
the mountains.
That's right.
Right.
But what they decided to do is do their own thing.
Because, sir.
They decided to go in the wilderness.
Because, sir.
And what happened? It cost them their life.
Right.
Because,
You understand? You can't play with God.
right.
You understand? The Lord said a man in charge, you're supposed to follow him.
Because, sir.
And they decided to do their own thing. And not only did it cost the man in charge, but it cost them their kids, their
Right.
wives, their children,
Right.
and everybody else. And they all lost their lives.
Because, sir.
Go ahead, Shadrach.
And you can almost say that's just like Christianity.
Mhm.
That's like Christianity. They wear them nice smooth suits. They're not ready for battle like
That's
we
right.
are. We're ready for battle tonight.
Right. And that goes to show you too, though, like just because you see a brother say, you know, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh, he wear a shield,
Right.
he wear headbands, he got fringes on. That don't mean that he follow God.
Come
Right.
These men follow God too, supposedly. But they ended up dead because what? They didn't follow the man in charge.
Right.
So come.
Just because you wear a shield of David don't mean you in the truth.
That's right.
You know, just because you wear fringes don't mean you in the truth.
Right.
Right.
You understand? Just because you say the salute don't mean you in the truth.
Right.
You got to be in the body.
Right.
You got to be in the body of Christ.
Damn
You understand? Keep going.
Verse 39. Now when Mattathias and his friends understood hereof, they mourned for them right sore.
Right. And this brother, he mourned for them. He felt sorry for them. He's like, damn, they're dead. Keep going.
Verse 40. And one of them said to another, if we all do as our brethren have done, and fight not for our lives and laws against the heathen, they will now quickly root us out of the earth.
So man, they're like saying, what? If we do exactly what they did, man, shit, we all gonna die.
Right.
We all gonna be dead. Keep going.
Right.
Verse 41. At that time thereof they decreed, saying, whosoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against him. Neither will we die all as our brethren that were murdered in the secret places.
Right.
Right.
Now, what the brother said, he said, whosoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against them.
Right.
Neither will we die all as our brethren that were murdered in the secret places. Y'all get the point though, right?
Right up.
These guys said, we ain't gonna be like that, man. We're gonna fight.
Right.
And that's what they did. Now let's keep reading.
Verse 42. Then came there unto him a company of Assyrians, who were mighty men of Israel, even all such as were voluntarily devoted unto the law. Verse 43. Also all they that fled for persecution joined themselves unto them, and were a stay unto them.
You understand? So now you see Mattathias, the way he's rolling, and now these other groups want to follow him. They're like, man, you know what? Let's go with them. Keep going. Let's go to verse let's see. Verse 46. No, verse 45.
Verse 45. Then Mattathias and his friends went round about and pulled down the altars within the coast of Israel uncircumcised. Those they circumcised valiantly. Verse 46. And when children soever they found within the coast of Israel uncircumcised, those they circumcised valiantly. They pursued also after the proud men, and the work prospered in their hand.
Right.
So they recovered the law out of the hand of the Gentiles and out of the hand of kings, neither suffered they the sinner to triumph. Now when the time drew near that Mattathias should die, he said unto his sons, now hath pride and rebuke gotten strength, and the time of destruction and the wrath of indignation.
Keep going.
Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law.
One more time.
Right.
One more time.
Be
From
ye
the top.
zealous for the law.
From the top.
Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law, and give your lives for the covenant of your father.
Right.
What?
Verse 51, call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time. So all you received great honor and an everlasting name.
Keep going.
Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation?
Right.
And it was imputed unto him for righteousness. Joseph in the time of his distress kept the commandment and was made Lord of Egypt. Phinehas our father, in being zealous and fervent, obtained the covenant of an everlasting priesthood. Yahushua for fulfilling the word was made a judge in Israel. Caleb for bearing witness before the congregation received the heritage of the land. David for being merciful possessed the throne of an everlasting kingdom. Elias for being zealous and fervent for the law was taken up into heaven. And Ananias, Azarias, and Misael by believing were saved out of the flames. Daniel for his innocency was delivered from the mouth of lions.
You understand what he's doing though, right? This Matthias is speaking to his sons before he dies. And before he dies, he's giving what? Words of encouragement to never break the law, but to follow the Most High. And he's saying that he's bringing out what these brothers did. He said Daniel, he said David, Elias, right? He also brought Abraham, Joseph, all these men that served the Lord, and how the Lord delivered them, looked out for them.
Right.
And he's saying what the Lord did to them, he can do the same exact thing to you.
That's
Keep going.
Right.
Verse 61, and thus consider you throughout all ages, that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome.
One more time.
Verse 61, and thus consider ye throughout all ages, that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome.
That none that put their trust in him shall be overcome. Keep going.
Verse 62, fear not then the words of a sinful man, for his glory shall be dung and worms.
60. Go to verse 64.
Verse 64, wherefore ye my sons, be valiant and show yourselves men in the behalf of the law, for by it shall ye obtain glory. And behold, I know that your brother Simon is a man of counsel.
Okay, stop right there. We're gonna stop right there. Now go to chapter 3. Go to chapter 3, verse 1. So Matthias, he just laid it down. He gave him words of encouragement. Right? Now chapter 3, verse 1.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 1. Then his son Judas, called Maccabeus, rose up in his stead.
So Matthias is gone. He passed away. So now Judas Maccabees takes his position of leadership. Go ahead.
Verse 2, and all his brethren helped him, and so did all they that held with his father. And they fought with cheerfulness the battle of Israel. So he gat his people great honor, and put on a breastplate as a giant, and girthed his warlike harness about him. And he made battles, protecting the host with his sword. And his axe he was like a lion, and like a lion's whelp roaring for his prey. For he pursued the wicked and sought them out, and burnt up those that vexed his people.
So now Judas Maccabees is fired up.
Right.
That's right.
He's going out there and conquering.
Right.
He's out there killing the Greeks, taking over land, right? Putting in work. Keep going.
Verse 6, wherefore the wicked shrunk for fear of him, and all the workers of iniquity were troubled, because salvation prospered in his hand.
Right.
He grieved also many kings, and made Jacob glad with his axe. And his memorial is blessed forever.
Right.
Moreover, he went through the cities of Judah, destroying the ungodly out of them, and turning away wrath from Israel, so that he was removed, so that he was renowned unto the utmost part of the earth, and he received unto him such as were ready to perish. Then Apollonius gathered the Gentiles together, and a great host of Samaria, to fight against Israel. Which thing when Judas perceived, he went forth to meet him, and so he smote him and slew him. Many also fell down slain, but the rest fled.
So as you read on, you begin to hear about these Greeks, about these heathen that want to fight Judas.
Right.
Because Judas is the man now.
Damn right.
Judas is, throwing out the heathen from the land. And so you have heathens are saying, you know what, let me go fight Judas.
Right.
Let me go fight Judas, and I'm going to make a name for myself.
Right.
And the king is going to favor me because I killed Judas.
Right.
And that was Apollonius. Right? And Apollonius died.
Right.
Verse 11. Read verse 11.
Verse 11, which thing when Judas perceived, he went forth to meet him. And so he smote him and slew him. Many also fell down slain, but the rest fled. Verse 12, wherefore Judas took their spoils And Apollonius swore also, and therewith he fought all his life long.
You know, Judas was so cold that he took that man's sword and fought with it for the rest of his life. So every single time Judas went to battle, he was using that devil's sword.
Right.
Verse 13.
Verse 13. Now when Saran, a prince of the army of Syria, heard say that Judas had gathered unto him a multitude and company of the faithful to go out with him to war, he said, I will give me a name and honor in the kingdom, for I will go fight with Judas and them that are with him.
Okay, let's stop right there. Go to 17. 16.
Verse 16. And when he came near to the going up of Beth Horon, Judas went forth to meet him with a small company.
So Judas went to go meet them with a small company, meaning what? A small army. Right? Keep going.
Verse 17. Who, when they saw the host coming to meet them, said unto Judas, how shall we be able, being so few, to fight against so great a multitude and so strong, seeing we are ready to faint with fasting all this day?
So now one of his men said what? What is one of his men saying? In this army, he's telling Judas what? He's saying, young man,
how we gonna fight such big armies and we so little and we finna pass out from fasting?
From fasting. Y'all ever did a fast before?
Right.
Brothers that been in school know what it is to do a fast. You ain't
Right.
you ain't ate, you ain't drank for a whole day.
Right.
So these brothers are at war while doing the fast. And not only are they at war, but let's say it's about 200,000 men. And there's only 100 of them. So one of these cats are like, man, how are we gonna fight them? It's so many of them. We ain't drank, we ain't ate all day. Like how are we gonna win? Keep going.
Verse 18. Unto whom Judas answered, is it no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few? And with God, and with the God of heaven, it is all one, to deliver with a great multitude or a small company.
Yeah.
So he's saying, man, it don't even matter.
Right.
It don't matter if they have a big army, a small army. If we got a little army, they got a big army. Because the Lord gonna be with us. We're gonna say,
If I may, I don't want to. We're not gonna deviate off the topic. When you read about Elijah, he went against 450 men of Baal.
right.
We read about Moses, he went against 253 men when they came out of Egypt, and he won.
Right.
There's no difference here than that. Slacking.
No, that's perfect, God, because you got some Christians that say, man, well, you look, we got 100,000 in our church. We got 100,000 in our church, in our school. Look at our numbers.
Right.
Look how many men we have. Look how many women we have.
Right.
And they'll try to laugh at us and be like, y'all only got a couple.
Right.
You know, y'all got a small class.
Right.
And the Lord don't give a damn about that.
Right.
The Lord care about how many brothers in here actually serve the Lord.
Wow.
That's what matters. What matters is it doesn't matter how many big or small, how many brothers and sisters are actually sincere in serving the Lord.
That's right.
If you got 2 brothers that serve the Lord versus 100,000 fake, man, the Lord gonna be with those 2.
That's right.
And he gonna make a miracle happen.
Right.
And you're about to see a miracle happen right now. We're gonna say, Shadrach.
And just like Samson killed what? 1,000, maybe almost 500,000 Philistines with the jawbone, like they say, of an ass, a donkey. That was one man against the whole Philistine army. And David, on a parcel of sand with about 5 warriors, took off the other armies.
That's right.
So y'all get the point. Y'all get the point. There's many stories when you read in the Bible where, the Lord make a miracle happen.
Right.
The Lord just want brothers that are sincere. And the Lord gonna be with you. So now let's read this. Let's see what happened right here.
Verse 19. For all the victory of battle standeth not in the multitude of an host.
One more time.
For all the victory of battle standeth not in the multitude of an host.
So did it say all or did it say for the victory of battle?
For the victory of battle standeth not in the multitude of an host, but strength cometh from heaven.
But where?
From heaven.
Go ahead.
So come against us in much pride and iniquity to destroy us and our wives and our children and to spoil us, but we fight for our lives and our laws. Wherefore the Lord himself will overthrow them before our face. And as for you, but be ye not afraid of them.
Man, that brother done laid it down right here. He done told his brother, man, don't be scared.
Right.
Right.
The Lord gonna be with us.
Right.
No matter how many numbers you got, or just put your faith in the Lord.
Right.
That's right.
Keep going.
Verse 23. Now, as soon as he had left us off speaking, he leapt suddenly upon them. And so Saran and his host was overthrown before him.
It's like this gotta be a movie right here.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why there ain't no movie like this. But after he done laid it down on this cat, he said he leaped on them. So man, the way I picture this, like he's the first one out.
Right.
He's the first one out and jumped on him and just started, doing his business. Keep going.
Verse 24. And they pursued them from the going down of Beth Horon unto the plain, where were slain about 800 men of them, and the residue fled into the land of the Philistines.
So 800 men of them were slain. Keep going.
Verse 25. Then began the fear of Judas and his brethren, and an exceeding great deed to fall upon the nations round about them.
An exceeding great dread.
An exceeding great dread to fall upon the nations round about them, insomuch as his fame came unto the king, and all nations talked of the battles of Judas. Now when King Antiochus heard these things, he was full of indignation. Wherefore he sent and gathered together all the forces of his realm and a very strong army. Verse 28.
Okay, let's start right there. I just want to get to the part where for the feast of dedication. I believe it's First Maccabees 4, chapter 4, verse 54.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 54. Look at what time and what day the heathen hath profaned it. Even in that was it dedicated with songs and citherns and harps and cymbals.
Let me go to one more part. Let me go to First Maccabees 5 and 55. Let me touch on that real quick.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 5, verse 55.
Go to 54.
Verse 54. So they went up to Mount Sion with joy and gladness, where they offered burnt offerings, because not one of them were slain until they had returned in peace. Now, what time as Judas and Jonathan were in the land of Galdad, and Simon his brother in Galilee before Ptolemy, Joseph the son of Zacharias and Azarias, captains of the garrisons, heard of the valiant acts and warlike deeds which they had done.
So now these cats, Joseph and Azarias, they begin to hear about what Judas Maccabees is doing. And now he's winning battles, winning wars. He hears about his fame. Keep going.
Verse 57. Wherefore they said, let us also get us a name.
Said what?
Let us also go get us a name.
So these are the same brothers in that army. So these same brothers that were in that army under Judas Maccabees said what? One more time.
Let us also get us a name.
They said, man, let's get us a name like them. And they're famous. Let's get famous like them. Keep going.
And go fight against the heathen that are round about us.
Let's go fight the heathen. Right? Keep going.
Verse 58. So when they had given charge unto the garrison that was with them, they went toward Jamnia. Then came Gorgias and his men out of the city to fight against them. And so it was that Joseph and Azarias were put to fight.
They were what?
Were put to fight.
Keep going.
And pursued unto the borders of Judea. And there were slain that day of the people of Israel about 2,000 men.
How many of them died?
About 2,000 men.
Keep going.
Thus was there a great overthrow among the children of Israel, because they were not obedient unto Judas and his brethren.
One more time, because they were what?
Because they were not obedient unto Judas and his brethren. But
man, so what happened right here? So these are brothers right here that were in the same army of Judas Maccabees, right? And they wanted to fight because they wanted a what? They wanted a name. They wanted a reputation. So they said, you know what? Let's go fight the way they did, and let's get some fame just like them. They're not sincere.
Right.
And so what ended up happening? They got themselves killed and they got other people killed because they ain't sincere, right? And then it says, thus was there a great overthrow among the children of Israel because they were not obedient unto Judas. Man, make sure you follow orders. Make sure you do that. Make sure you follow orders. I know sometimes, I don't know what you think, Sly. I ain't gonna speak on that. Just make sure you follow your damn orders. Every brother in here got orders to follow. Make sure you follow orders. And don't ever think, man, you know what? I could do it better than him. you know what? I don't know why he do it like that. I don't know why he say it like that. But you know what? I think I can do it better. You playing yourself if you thinking that.
Right.
You playing yourself. You thinking that. And if you think otherwise and you go about what you're thinking, you're gonna have to find out the hard way. You're gonna find out the hard way, and you're gonna embarrass yourself. And then you're gonna get kicked out of school. And you know what? And then we're all gonna talk about you too. And then we're all gonna talk about you like, hey, remember that brother right there? You remember him? He ain't here no more, but don't be like him.
Right.
We really gonna say it. Don't be like him. Don't do that. Don't be like her. Be like her. Don't be like him. Because he was here at one point, and then he got high-minded. He thought he can do it his own way.
Right.
And he ain't here no more. You know, now you on I.S.U.P.K protocol, Salakia. About, you know, you gotta get the point.
Right.
And so, but the point is that there's been brothers like that though, man. That spirit has been around a long time. You talking about the time of Judas Maccabees, and there was brothers during that time that wanted the name.
Right.
You know, they wanted fame, name
Right.
and fame, and they got caught up because of it. And now they're dead.
Right.
And now we're reading a story about them too.
Right.
Now we're reading about a story of our brothers that wanted a name and fame, and now they're dead. And now they're made a living example of people not to follow and not to be like. It's like Shalom, who's gonna say?
I mean, you did sum it up, but I was just gonna say, me being an older man, you gotta be ready to listen to a younger man. If you can't listen to a younger man, then get the hell out of here, because he outranks you.
Right.
His rank, the Lord gave him that rank. You need to recognize that the Lord gave him that, so shut the hell up and follow orders.
Right. Y'all understand that? We'll touch a little more on that. But let's go to 61. Let's go to 61.
Verse 61. Thus was there a great overthrow among the children of Israel, because they were not obedient unto Judas and his brethren.
Because they were not obedient unto Judas and his brethren. Go ahead.
But thought to do some valiant act.
But they thought to do some valiant act. They wanted to go to war and fight,
Right.
thinking that they were going to get a reputation, and they ended up dead. Go over. I'm going to keep going.
Verse 62. Moreover, these men came not of the seed of those by whose hand deliverance was given into Israel. Howbeit, the man Judas and his brethren were greatly renowned in the sight of all Israel, and of all of the heathen, wheresoever their name was heard of. And so much as the people assembled unto them with joyful acclamations. Afterward, when Judas forth with his brethren and fought against the children of Esau in the land toward the south, where he smote Hebron and the towns thereof, and pulled down the fortress of it, and burned the towers thereof round about.
Okay, let's stop right there. Now let's go back to 1 Maccabees 4 and 54.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 54.
Yeah.
Look, at what time and what day the heathen have profaned it. Even in that was it dedicated with songs and citherns and harps and cymbals. Verse 55. Then all the people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising God of heaven. So like worshiping and praising the God of heaven, who had given them good success. And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days, and offered burnt offerings with gladness, and sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise. They decked also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold, and with shields, and with the gates of the chambers they renewed, and hanged doors upon.
Go down to 59.
Verse 59. Moreover, Judas and his brother with the whole congregation of Israel ordained that the days of dedication of the altar should be kept in their season.
That the days of what?
That the days of dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year by the space of 8 days. From the 25th day of the month Caslu with mirth and gladness. At that time also they builded up the Mount Sion was high with high walls and strong towers round about, lest the Gentiles should come and tread it down.
So you just hold on to that, and that's what we show where we keep the piece of dedication, right? Where Judas and his brethren with the whole congregation of Israel ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year by year by the space of 8 days. That's the feast of dedication right there. It's in the Apocrypha. Can somebody pull the scripture where Christ kept the feast of dedication? Allah Ta'ala?
John 10, maybe I believe 22nd chapter.
You can pull it real quick.
10th chapter, 22nd verse, if I may.
So right now, what we do, we would so in the school we would bring new things to the school. You got a new menorah, bring the new menorah. You got pictures that gotta be framed, bring new pictures to be framed. You know, just help rebuild the school. So like, you trying to serve food?
No, you have to see. Sister got some stuff.
Okay, no sweat. You got that, lots of that?
Come on, sir.
All right, go ahead.
This is the book of John, chapter 10, verse 22.
That's right.
And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of the dedication, and it was winter.
So that's Jerusalem, the feast of dedication. What book and chapter is that?
This is the book of John, the 10th chapter, the 22nd verse.
Right. This is the New Testament. This is during Christ, right? So
Right.
Christ kept the feast of what? Feast of dedication.
Right, sir.
And why did he keep the feast of dedication? Because of what Mattathias did.
Right, sir.
You understand? That's why we keep the feast of Hanukkah.
Right.
All right. So we got any questions? Any questions in the room? We're good?
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Where could you point me to within captivity where we left on where this is taking place as far as in the Maccabees?
Say it one time.
Within all these wars, within this captivity, when we lost, when we went, okay, Judah and Israel, right?
Okay.
The southern and northern kingdom, we got separated. The last thing where I'm coming from was Babylon, where we got sent off in captivity to Babylon. Where in a point in captivity because I think like we was bouncing back and forth to keep it all together between the northern tribe and the south and the southern tribes to like what was going on in our captivity, how we kept notes, how everything came together. This what's going on, what you're explaining, at what point in time did this go on into like what captivity and like rulership, like I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say, but I'm trying to come up with a time frame to where it is
With the southern and the northern kingdom during this period of time?
yeah, like where are we in a sense?
So the southern kingdom would be like Judah, Benjamin, and Levi.
That's the north side.
That's the southern kingdom. So right, so they're going through this war with the Greeks, right? The northern kingdom are already in the Americas during this period of time.
Right.
So they're on this side. You understand? So the Hispanic tribes, the Mexicans, Central Americans, South Americans, the Native American Indians, they're already on this
In the Americas.
on the Americas.
And so when where we reading right now, they're in Egypt. They're still these people. The north side still on the east side, on the eastern side.
So the northern kingdom would be in the Americas.
So this time right now, we're speaking about what's going on in the Americas.
No, we're speaking about what's going on in Israel. This is when the Greeks overcame Israel.
So that when they overcame Israel, Christ died, right?
It's before Christ. Before Christ. Okay. Most High Christ.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I'm gonna wrap it up with that. But before I wrap it up, let me get Slack. Oh, Slack, not Slack, go ahead.
So like I was gonna add on to
Go ahead.
we're under the Persian Empire. Babylon, and at that time period I was under the Persian Empire. I think that's what he was asking, like who were we under captivity under? At that time period.
Yeah. Well, where's Commandant?
How about that?
Coming outside. Oscar Ward. Oscar Ward. Can you call it brother real quick, guys? real quick. You got I.S.U.P.K, you got a camera?
Yeah. Like on my phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need you to film right now if you could. All right, so with that being said, I'm gonna wrap it up with that. Unless we got any questions. We got any more questions? All right, no sweat. All right. Okay. Let me do this real quick. All right, so let me get young man Davion. Davion over here, if you can step up over here real quick. What? No, this brother right here. All right. You just step up right here to the center. Center right here. Center right. So be on the camera right here. Behind this.
You want to pull it back?
Yeah, can you pull it back?
It don't go too far. You got it. Hey, don't pull it back too far because we got it.
All right, let me just get it on him though. Just get it on him.
It's just on him.
Just on him.
Come over here real quick and just face towards the face.
All right, so this young man Davion right here. I'm gonna explain your story a little bit, all right? So this young man Davion, this brother right here just got out of prison. This brother did 18 years in prison. He found the truth in prison. You understand? So this man right here, he's the cousin of the Daniela. Daniela is another brother we have in prison.
Yeah.
He found the truth in there. He's out, and he didn't put in work. Of course, now he's due for his Hebrew name. All right, so we're gonna raise this man up today. So now going forward, this man will no longer be what his former name used to be. His name will be 1 second. 1 second. His name will now be Awaraya. Awaraya,
Right.
which means awakened by the Most High.
Right.
Once again, his brother got out of prison. He found the truth in prison. His brother been through a lot. You understand? He went through some things, did his time, found the truth in there, got in contact with the school, put in work. He did his work. You understand? And now he's approved for a Hebrew name. So now going forward, his name will be I.W.Raya. I.W.Raya, which means awakened by the Most High. So now we got oil. What's on there?
Couple pounds right there.
Real quick. Let me get your head right here.
With that sauce.
And just say, no, man, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing, you know what I mean? Like if you can find the truth, dog, anybody can find the truth. Just like we all found the truth, dog. So I want to congratulate you, dog. You understand? You put in work. You understand? You found the truth. Now this is just the start right here, dog. Right. This is just the start. I don't just beginning, dog. But most of I don't want to take nothing from you, but congratulations on getting your Hebrew name. Your name's Awaraya. Right. I can get two priests up here. Let me get Shadrach and I.S.U.P.K. I'll say this prayer real quick. All right, so we're gonna say this prayer, all right? Yabaraki Yahweh.
Yabaraki Yahweh.
Wayashamarka.
Wayashamarka.
Ya'ar Yahweh.
Ya'ar Yahweh.
Panyawa.
Panyawa.
Aliyaka.
Aliyaka.
Wayakunka.
Wayakunka.
Yasha'a Yahweh.
Yasha'a Yahweh.
Panyawa.
Panyawa.
Aliyaka.
Aliyaka.
It's like Wayashlaka.
Wayashlaka.
Wayashamlaka.
Wayashamlaka.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem.
Ba'ashem.
Yahushai.
Yahushai.
Barak.
Barak.
Rapah.
Rapah.
Magun.
Magun.
Agun.
Magun.
So
So now we're gonna say your name 3 times, and then you say your name 3 times, all right? All right, so let's make sure I get his name right. Warrior.
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 Warrior. All right, let's swear by Shimmy Yahushai.
By Shimmy Yahushai.
The water on money.
The water on money.
All right, let's go.
All right.
All right, can you hold it? Men of Israel, Amijam Shabbat, understand? Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, face the teacher. Men of Israel, Amijam Shabbat, Amijam, Barak,
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Rakatam.
Men of Israel, we're going to SAR and face the sisters. Sisters, you can please stand. Al-Wazir, sisters in the Hebrew. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Amijam Shabbat, Amijam, Barak,
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh.
Kum Ya Shalom!